Hi, my name's Graham Frost and I'm a professional speaker and trainer. I live in Birmingham. Just recently I've been thinking quite a lot about my past and I was a young offender in my late teens, 17, 18, 19. And at the age of 19 that led me to be in a young offenders institution for about 14 months. So I've been thinking these last few days and weeks about what it must be like to be in a young offenders institution under lockdown. Because from what I understand, if you're in any kind of prison at the moment, you're pretty much under lockdown 23 and a half hours a day. Now, I find that pretty difficult. So I'm thinking about you guys that are in there and trying to put myself in your shoes a little bit. And I was in a fairly open regime back in the 1970s, but my liberty was still taken away from me, and I didn't have any contact with my family at that time because I'd left my family because they were in a religious cult, and so I didn't have any visits or letters or anything like that from my family. In fact, the whole time I was in the Young Offenders Institution, I had 2 visits and probably about 3 or 4 letters in all that time. So it was a difficult time, but so I wanted to try and give you some ideas about some coping mechanisms, some things that you could do to try and get through. And I think I've recently been reading a book by a gentleman called Terry Waite. And Terry Waite was a hostage in Beirut in the Lebanon in the 1980s, and I'm old enough to remember that. And he's a pretty special guy. He had done nothing wrong. All he did was go to Beirut to try and negotiate the release of some hostages. And I've been reading his book, and I'm still reading it. It's quite a long book to read, but I recommend if you can get your hands on it to read it. It might be in the prison library, or you might be able to get somebody to send it in for you. Because he said that even though he was kept in the dark, he was very, very deprived in his experience. He managed to keep himself going by having a routine. And even though it was a very, very basic routine, he had a routine, he managed to get through every day by using that routine. And I can remember from my time in prison that I had to have a routine. And for the 14 months that I was in the Young Offenders Institution, I mostly worked in the kitchen and in the dining area. And so I would get up at 5:30 in the morning and go and prepare for the rest of the inmates to come and have their breakfast and that kind of thing. So it gave me a good habit to get into, with getting up early in the morning and actually doing something. So if it's possible for you to do that, if it's possible for you to have some kind of routine, try to do that. And I think also another thing I would recommend is that you try not to be scared to ask for help, and if you need help, if you're feeling really bad about the situation, to talk to somebody about it. So that's just a few words of advice. I probably will be making another short video soon, and I do really wish you all the best in the situation that you find yourselves in, and just please know that at least one person outside of that prison is actually thinking about you and the situation you're in.